All right, welcome back, everybody. Liam joining once again. Thanks for coming on to co-host again.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk ball again. Should be fun.
So, American League, we'll start off with that first. Really interesting storylines have unfolded in the last couple weeks leading into the All-Star break. Something I'm very happy about is the Red Sox and winning 10 straight. I think the first couple Nationals and then Rockies, some awful last place teams, but the Rays series makes you feel like it's kind of legit. I did not love the Devers trade. I still do not love the Devers trade. I thought it was. I did not like the idea of getting rid of him for the return that they got. I was okay with potentially moving him, but I thought that the return needed to be a lot better, and I still feel the same way that they should have gotten a much better return. And I thought it was kind of weird that they just made a deal with San Francisco and that was that instead of like shopping him. I know Breslow said in his interview that, he thought that they wanted to just be done with him that way. If he got injured, then like his trade value would go down so they could get the most for him. But I would argue get the most for him by calling up every team and starting a bidding war. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Liam, but I'll go to you.
Yeah, I think what came out of it that I found so interesting was that there wasn't a robust market for him. Mostly, I mean, not mostly, entirely because of his contract. Like, it seemed like from all the reporting that San Francisco was the only team that would take all of that contract. Um, and to be honest, like, if I was a Red Sox fan, I would just be glad that he's out of the locker room. Like, he just, it's easy because he's not on my team, but like, he just kind of seems like a pain in the ass. And like, with all the like good young players they have, it's not a guy that I want around them in the clubhouse. So I agree with you. I thought the return was pretty bad, actually. It also it could look a lot worse or a lot better depending on how the trade deadline goes. Because like if we don't see any top 100 prospects moved, then like it looks like a better trade. But if
Right.
guys are flying all over the place, then it's a little questionable. But I'm not a big fan of anybody they got. I think if they move Chapman, Hicks could be, a tolerable closer. He's been fine in that role in the past. Not a big fan of Harrison, and I don't know a ton about the two prospects they got. I know one of them was a first round pick, and I'm sure.
Yeah, he was decent.
Yeah, I mean, with the track record that they have developing hitters in recent years, like he's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'd be bummed that I didn't get like a stud prospect back or a reliable pitcher, but I would also just be happy that he's out of the way and you don't have to
Yeah,
deal with it.
I think your point of the contract is spot on. I don't think anybody else was going to take on that contract for a guy who's now a DH and not playing third base because he wasn't that good defensively. But I still believe they could have gotten a better return with a different team. Maybe wouldn't have taken all that money, but you could have gotten a better return. Ideally, I would have gone one for one, tried to get a quality starter behind Crochet, somebody to throw in there, take some of the innings off the relievers. I don't agree with your point about Chapman. I don't think he's going to get moved based off of what Passan had to say the other day. I think they're going to keep their guys. I mean, it's possible that with their outfield the way it's currently constructed, you have Anthony, Duran, Abreu, and Rafaela, and maybe one of those guys gets moved. I think Duran or Abreu is the most likely. I think there's no way they're getting rid of young Roman Anthony or Rafaela with the way he's been playing and how cheap he is right now. They got him locked down for 8 years. 50 million, so they're going to have to probably add some more money to that contract. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. I think that's kind of the way it is. I don't love the idea of Duran. I love Duran, so I don't want to trade him. So if you get Abreu for the top trade value you'll ever get, I'm okay with moving him for a pitcher. And then Yoshida, I think is. I'd be fine moving him, but I don't think you're going to get much back. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you because I think most people, or maybe this isn't true, but I feel like most people have said Duran is the one they'd move. If I was a Red Sox fan, I'd want to move Abreu more. I really like Duran. I think he's been underperforming and he's still been like pretty good. Last year he was amazing, so I wouldn't trade him. I think he's 28. Like he's
Yep.
not an old guy by any means, and Abreu's younger, so I think you could get a pretty nice return for him. Because I mean, there's you don't trade Roman Anthony for anything,
No.
and Rafael has just been too hot to get rid of right now, and he's too valuable as like a utility guy for them. So yeah, I agree. I do think they have to get rid of one of them. I don't think they can keep playing four.
Yeah.
Because they're too good to not play every day.
Yeah, I was looking back at like 2013, and they had I forget who it was, but they moved. Now I'm thinking about it. They traded to the Dodgers right before the 2013 World Series run, and they got rid of like Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez, and I think that might have been the Jake Peavy trade where they got Jake Peavy. I don't remember if that was the right trade or not, but they did acquire Jake Peavy, and they did give up some pieces regardless. So I think they just need another pitcher, just like they did in 13. But like, I want to get to a different team. The Blue Jays, obviously 3 games up on the Red Sox right now. They've lost the last couple in that series against the A's, but they just looked like they were shot out of a cannon, kind of like the Red Sox were right before those couple losses. They just look electrified there. I haven't kept up with them too much, but then I had to put my eyes on them when they started to blow up and take over. So, what do you think about the Blue Jays?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like people have picked the Blue Jays to be like the hot AL East team like the past like few years, and then this year it felt like nobody did it. Like they were like, all right, we're tired of believing in this team, and then of course this is the year they're like putting it together. Um, but I mean, Vladdy's been awesome.
Oh,
Alejandro Kirk was an all star. Like he's a weird archetype for a catcher because he's like a contact guy, but he's been really good. Addison Barger's been a beast for them. He's a younger guy. He was in the Fisher Cats. He was on the Fisher Cats a couple years ago. Like he's
yep.
been great. And then Bichette's just steady. And then George Springer is having like his best year in a while out of nowhere. Like if you predicted that, you're a maniac. I don't know how anybody could have seen that coming. And then their pitching's just been really solid. Like and they're doing it without Manoa, who was their best pitcher a few years ago. So I think they're legit, and they've shown that they'll spend money. Like they tried to get Otani, they tried to get Juan Soto. Like they'll go out and trade for a big name guy if they become available. So I think they're a real threat in the American League East.
I agree. I think they're right there. So I've been impressed with them. The thing that I think they should be very glad about is they didn't move Bichette, which I kind of thought that they were going to do moving into last offseason, but they kept him, and that seemed to pay off. The other thing is the Yankees right now. Like they started off hot. They had the most games where they led the division. Obviously, doing what they were able to do, led by Judge. You knew that they were going to be decent, but now they're in a weird position where they're still good, but they've been more mediocre over the last couple of weeks. And now you have what's going on is they've been overtaken by Toronto, who's 2 games up on them, and you got the Red Sox who were dead in the water, now breathing right down their necks, a game behind them.
And Tampa's not out of the picture either.
Mhm.
And I, you and I weren't big Yankee believers before the year. I didn't think Judge was going to hit 350 like that. That would have changed my mind a little bit. He somehow is getting better, but I just don't think they have the pitching. And I can't remember what the stat was last night, but they were like one of the worst teams in the league the past month. Like they've been really struggling. So I mean, you can't count them out of any trade, but I don't know what they do. Because like Freed has been amazing for them. Rodon was an all-star, but their closer situation has like weirdly not been good with Devin Williams and Weaver. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're an enigma to me. I don't get them.
Yeah, I think they're in it. I just like, yeah, they made the World Series last year. They lost to the Dodgers. Dodgers are a great team. You can't deny that the Dodgers are an awesome, awesome team. The thing that's kind of strange about it is just like they just haven't been able to do anything since 2009. They won the World Series. They were there last year. There was years with Houston where it's like maybe, Houston cheating cost the Yankees a chance to go to the World Series, but they haven't gotten it done since 2009. I think they're a good team, no doubt, but I just feel like they kind of lack that clutch factor where it's like, okay, we were up in the division, and even with teams like the Blue Jays and Red Sox performing better, we're going to just lock down and we're not going to give an inch. And, they've buckled a little bit. So we'll see what happens with them. I think Tampa's also an interesting team, the way that they run things. They're always seemingly in the mix. I think after the series with the Red Sox, it was a really good measuring stick of like where they're at, and like they're fourth in the standings. I would put them fourth in, power rankings outside of that in terms of how good I think they are in this division. But I don't think they're completely out of it. Like you said, you never know if they make some moves at the deadline. We'll see what happens there. But what do you think about Tampa? You think they'll make a big trade soon?
I don't know if they'll make a big trade, but I I really like them. I think they have a great team. Caminero is like one of my favorite players. I think he's just awesome. Their third baseman, and their pitching is like it's so deep. On the like uh, most recent like trade stuff that's been going around is they're open to moving Taj Bradley, which is surprising to me because he's like a younger pitcher, a younger starter. So like they could get something seriously legit for that. But they're a couple games over 500. Their park is it's not ideal. It's not where you want to play,
No,
obviously,
I
but
mean, you have a field get destroyed by a hurricane.
yeah, I mean, like the circumstances are brutal, but like they're playing in a spring training stadium, and they just got Hassan Kim back, their shortstop, so like that should help. But I think they don't have that like go to guy the way that Judge and Vladdy are. I think Caminero can be that, but he's 22 right now. Like it's kind of like Roman Anthony a little. He's more
Right.
proven than Roman Anthony, but it's just like a young superstar where I don't know. I don't know if they have enough. Brandon Lau's been really good. I like Josh Lowe. They're deep, but they don't. I just don't know if they have enough to make the playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do because I love the way they play, like the way they build their teams.
Yeah, right now I would say, yeah, they're a contender for the wild card, but if you ask me, there's three teams who aren't winning the division who are going to get in. I would not have them there. Baltimore, a team that I was not thinking they would suck as much as they do, frankly, but I thought that they were not going to be as good as you did. You were a big Baltimore believer. I think you picked Baltimore to win the division prior to the season. It's okay. You were wrong on that, but I was wrong
Yeah,
on some other stuff that we'll get to later, but. Yeah, like I said, I thought that Corbin Burns loss was really going to hurt them, and it has. The other interesting thing is I heard they got rid of a lot of their coaches following last season because the last two seasons they've had incredible regular seasons followed by getting swept in the first round of the playoffs. So I heard they said, you know what, our team can't perform in the playoffs. We're going to get rid of a lot of our coaches, and they have. So I think that's kind of turned things around, and I think that was probably the wrong move there. Instead, they probably should have looked at what went wrong and try and get another bat in their lineup. I mean, they got Tyler O'Neill over the offseason from the Red Sox as a free agent, but I don't think that was the correct move, doing what they did and gutting a lot of their coaches. What do you think?
yeah. I mean the reason I like them so much was just because of how young their like bats were. Like
Mhm.
and like if you told me Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson would take a step back, then obviously I'd be like, oh well, they're gonna struggle. Like I don't know what's going on with Rutschman. Like
No.
he seems like he's like 35 years old. Like it's very bizarre. Gunnar started the year out hurt, so I would anticipate he's a pretty big second half. But like they have all these young prospects that are like Jordan Westberg was an All Star last year, I think. Colton Cowser, he was awesome last year. He was hurt. Kobe Mayo was a huge prospect. Heston Kjerstad, and then Jackson Holiday was the number one prospect last year. I think he's awesome. And he's been really good for them. And then Ryan O'Hearn, like out of nowhere, was an all star. Like he's been great for them. They just like if your two big name guys aren't going to perform with the pitching you have, like you just don't stand a chance. And like
Right.
their pitching was a huge question mark. Like losing Corbin Burns and then not replacing him was pretty big. I mean, they bring in Charlie Morton, who like he's done a pretty admirable job, but he's like 42. Like
Right.
it's a lot to ask of someone. I don't know when Bradish is coming back. Like they're only 6 games back of the Rays, but they would need they would have to get like the Detroit Tigers hot from last year to stand
Right.
a chance here. And I just don't know if it can happen with the pitching they have.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think that Burns loss was a lot bigger than some people chopped it out to be. That really affected them. Moving on to your division, the Central. Detroit, man. I picked them to win that division in the preseason. So I was right there, but I didn't think it was going to be as dominant of a run as they've had to this point. Where, Scuba, he's just been lights out. I think he's right there for the Cy Young in the American League, probably the front runner at this point. Crochet, as a Red Sox fan, I like to throw Crochet's name in there. I think he's been pretty good, but, Scuba is right now, he's got to have the edge there. So they've been doing a good job over there. And like we always say, we think the central divisions are kind of weaker. So I think playing against that competition, does some favors to your record.
Yeah, especially with the way the Guardians and Royals have been playing. Like they've been somewhat disappointing. I think the Twins have kind of been what everyone expects, and then the White Sox. The thing with Detroit, like I picked them to make the playoffs last year. Like I got pretty lucky with the run they went on, but this year I thought like maybe they could be a wild card team. I did not see their lineup being this good. Like Gleyber Torres just becoming a stud again in Detroit, where it's a harder place to hit than New York. I don't know who could have predicted that. And then anybody that thought Javi Baez was going to be an all star as a center fielder, I'd like to see you because I don't think you exist. Like that came out of nowhere. Um, Riley Green, like he's a stud. I like Riley Green, but he's been awesome. I mean, Spencer Torkelson's been good. Dylan Dingler, their catcher, has been really good. Like sometimes it just clicks for a team, and this year
Right.
Detroit has just been a menace. And they got Jack Flaherty back, who I'm not a huge fan of him, but like he's a good, steady pitcher for them. Like those are the kind of moves you have to make. And Flaherty and Gleyber Torres have turned into like two amazing offseason acquisitions for them. And then I think Skubal's the best pitcher in the league. I think he's probably going to win the Cy Young again. I think
Yeah.
it's a 3-man race between him, Crochet, and Hunter Brown in Houston. You could throw Freed in there. I wouldn't, but he's been really good too. But Skubal's just like, I think if you watch everybody pitch, like he's the guy that you're like, oh yeah, this guy's the best. Like, so I think when you have him, like you can beat anybody, especially in the playoffs. Like last year, having to go against them in a series was really scary because we had to face Skubal twice. Like they're legit. They're a legitimate World Series contender.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's totally, I agree with everything you just said. The Baez thing was the thing that stuck out to me like a sore thumb of like, this guy was an incredible player with the 2016 Cubs, and then he just like he's been awful. And then all of a sudden he shows up this year, and it's just like stuff is just totally different. I was shocked to see, not after the way he played, obviously, but him being an all-star. If you had told me that entering the year, I'd say there was no chance of it. And it happened. Second place team right now in the division, I think, is the Twins. Three-headed monster there with Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and Ty France. They're all batting pretty well. I'm looking at the stats here now. Buxton's batting 289, Correa 264, and Ty France is 248. So they look pretty good headed into the All Star break in terms of their offense, but it's a Central Division, and they're not. You have to be in line for a wild card if you're not going to win the division, and they're not there right now. So I don't. I'll be curious to see if they're buyers or sellers, but that's kind of where I'm at with them. What do you think?
Yeah, they're similar to Toronto to me in the way that like it seems like every year guys are like, this is the year the Twins are gonna do it. Like they have a good roster that's gonna click, and this is hasn't really been that year. I will say I think a healthy Byron Buxton has been one of the best stories of the league this year. Like
Right.
he's been absolutely incredible. I love watching him play. He's a stud. And I mean, Royce Lewis, they're like other huge stud, big name guy has been pretty terrible this year. So like I, they're treading water without him and Pablo Lopez, who's their ace coming into the year. So they could hang around given the division they're in, but the rumors that have been going around are about Joe Ryan and whether or not they trade him. I don't think they would. They could get a crazy return for him if they did trade him. He really impressed me in the All Star game yesterday. I know he's good. He's got excellent fastball, but he looked untouchable yesterday. So if I was Minnesota, there's no chance I'd move him, but they could be an interesting deadline team if they do decide to sell.
Okay. Kansas City, kind of mediocre. I just, this wild card's too competitive. I don't have faith in them. I'm just going to put it bluntly that way. To pull up the official standings here now, they're 12 back. They're 47 and 50. They're 3 games under 500. Detroit's got a stranglehold on that division. They're walking away with it. So it's really all about the wild card now at this point for those teams in the Central. So I just 4.5 back. It's not that severe if you decide to be buyers. I'm just not a believer. They have some young talent there, but I just don't think that they're gonna be able to make it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they were my preseason pick to win this division. Like, I was a big believer in their lineup and their pitching. Cole Reagans has been hurt, so when you don't have your ace, that's pretty tough. And then Bobby Witt has taken a minor step back. Like, I like it going into the year. If you were like, who's going to start the AL All Star game at shortstop? It's like Witt or Gunnar Henderson, and it
Right.
like those are the two picks, and it ends up being Jacob Wilson. Like obviously it's a fan vote, so like it's not Jacob Wilson's not better than Bobby Witt, but it goes to show that Witt hasn't been the runner-up MVP like he was last year. And then no Reagans, and then Seth Lugo's taking a step back. Last year he was, I want to say he might have been top five in Cy Young voting. Like he was awesome last year. He's regressed. And then I'm not a big Carlos Estevez guy. Their closer, I don't trust that. So I, they're not out of it given the division. Same thing with the Twins, but I don't see it with them. I don't know what kind of trade they could do. I haven't really heard anything about them, like in terms
Yeah.
of buying or selling. Like they've been pretty quiet, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's a good summation. Everybody not named Detroit in that division is competing for a wild card. We're saying what it is. And then you have
Yeah.
like whoever, I think that you're going to have at least two teams from the American League East make the wild card, which leaves one left over for a West or a Central team. That's just my opinion. But that's where I'm at. Your team, Cleveland.
Yeah. And piggybacking off of that, like if you're Minnesota, Kansas City, or Cleveland, like you're basically competing with Seattle. I feel like you can hope to catch Boston or New York, but those teams I think are a class above them. So that's who you're looking at is can we, catch Seattle? But Cleveland wise, this is more of what I expected going into the year. Like they just don't have the lineup. They got rid of Josh Naylor, who's hitting almost 300. Like replaced him with Carlos Santana, who's been fine, but I, this is just what Cleveland does. Like they make a great run, and then they're like, well, we've got to save some money. So, I mean, Jose Ramirez has been amazing. Quan was an All Star again, but they don't have the starting pitching. Their bullpen's taking a step back. The lineup sucks. I hate watching them. I watch every game and it's miserable. They can't hit at all. But they're a huge deadline team. If they move Class A, like that could really swing some playoff races for some teams.
Right.
So I hope they do. I've wanted them to trade him for a couple of years. I've been in the very big minority on that. I don't like closers that don't strike guys out. And he throws 100-mile-an-hour cutter, but strikes out like less than a quarter of the hitters he sees.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which like it's because his control is so good. Like he throws strikes. So if guys get a hold of one, like it's going a long way. But he's a very good pitcher. I don't like having him as our closer. So I hope we trade into the Dodgers or whatever, but we'll see. And then
Oh, come
apparently,
on.
I mean, they've got the best prospects, so if they want to pay up, I'll take it. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up for the deadline. It's not the NBA, so I don't think we'll see like a ton of big splashy moves, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of half in your camp with the Class A thing. Like last season, I would have not moved him. But I think it's all about the right timing, and this is the right time. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. You should have never said the Dodgers, dude. Just don't. I mean, we talked about
Uh,
Sasaki in the offseason, and he ended up going there. They get everything. They have the superstar team. It's not fair. So no, they don't get anybody else from somebody else's team. No. White Sox suck. There's nothing interesting about them. They're not gonna do anything.
yeah, they're pretty rough. They called up one of my favorite prospects, Colson Montgomery, their shortstop. They just called him up a couple weeks ago. But the Chase Meadroff, the guy they got from Boston in the Crochet trade, him and Teal have been like fine, but that team is miserable. Luckily, their farm is better than it was a year ago. It's getting better, so hopefully they'll be competitive. And I mean, they have another big name too for the deadline. Like if someone trades for Lou Robb, like that could be big. I mean, I feel like the Phillies have been linked to him for a few years, so we'll see if anybody takes it on. He's been pretty bad this year, but we know he has the talent.
West, Houston leading the way. Boring, not surprised. I mean,
Yeah,
but I had Texas in my preseason with that division. You did as well. You had them winning the American League, so they're not that. I'm sick of Houston, but it's not
yeah,
shocking. They have a good culture there. Hopefully, no more cheating with trash cans and all that. But that's the way they are. They're just they reload. That's what they do.
Yeah, and, I mean they've been doing all this without Yordan Alvarez, who's their best hitter. So, and they lost Kyle Tucker. Like
Mhm.
yeah, they're inevitable. They have really great pitching. Like I said earlier, Hunter Brown is one of my favorite pitchers in the league. He's been awesome for them. They have a solid bullpen. They got Hader. Lineups deep. Like they'll be there in October. Like
They they have one of the best lineups in the American League. I mean, Pena and Myers are both batting over 300 right now. Not a lot of teams can say that they have two guys doing that. And then Smith and Altuve are both 277 right now. So Seattle, Cal Raleigh. Hey, I mean, he's had one heck of a year.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. 38 home runs is crazy. Like,
I've
uh,
like I don't remember that ever happening by the All-Star break.
I mean, he's the second most homers by the All Star break all time, behind Barry Bonds when he hit 73.
Yeah,
So they have Barry Bonds at catcher, who's a switch hitter, and he won the Platinum Glove last year. Like, no one's going to take the MVP from Judge, but this is the closest you could possibly be. Is he's been unbelievable, and he just seems like a good dude. Like he seems very easy to root for, down to earth.
right,
And I love Seattle. They've always been like one of my favorite non-Cleveland teams because of Griffey and Ichiro. But
right.
they have awesome pitchers. They've got Julio. If they can get like one more bat, then I think they're a legit threat just because of how deep their pitching is.
Yeah, Texas, they've got Josh Smith at shortstop. He's been good. Langford's been okay. I just, I don't know. Their pitching is okay, but Lugo's a decent pitcher. I like him, but Lorenzen's not good. Michael Wacha's not what he used to be. So I just, I was expecting better things from them entering the year, and just with the wild card race the way that it's at, I maybe I shouldn't have been as surprised as I am right now. They're 3.5 back of the wild card, so they could still make it one game under 500. But like, I really believe they were going to be a 90-win team, and I was hoping they'd be back in it because they won the World Series, 2 years ago, and now. Last year they weren't as good, but then you're kind of hoping they would recover. So I'm a little disappointed, just as a baseball fan.
Yeah, I've been very disappointed in them. They've been my second biggest disappointment. Because I mean, I had them going to the World Series. Like I thought they were absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah.
won the World Series 2 years ago without DeGrom. Like, and he was on the roster, he just couldn't play. They got him back. He's been awesome this year. He's an all-star. They have Evaldi, who's still good. Their bullpen sucks. It's so bad. They don't have a closer. Seager's been good. Simeon really struggled at the beginning of the year. He stepped it up recently. Same with Adolis Garcia. But Langford and Evan Carter are two of my favorite like young players, and they've both been a little disappointing. Carter's been hurt, but I thought this team was like 1 through 9, super deep.
Oh yeah.
They haven't been. Jonah Heim's taking a step back. Jake Berger, they're one of their big offseason acquisitions. I really like him. He's a great power bat. He struggled a little bit. He got hurt. He got sent down to AAA at one point. Like and then they fired their hitting coach. They've had a really weird year. They're another team like if they want to get real crazy, like they could trade DeGrom like that if they want to get nuts. Him and Evaldi, like who knows? I don't see it happening, but you never know.
Send Evaldi to Boston. I said this a year ago too, so that'd be cool.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see. I think,
He's a dog.
yeah, I think trading DeGrom for somebody who's, better positioned to make a playoff run than them at this point would be a wise move. Yeah, let's see. Angels, they're 2 games under 500. They're honestly less crappy than I thought. I mean, but you had Judge or not Judge, you know what I mean. You had Trout and you had Otani on the team at the same time, and you couldn't make it into the postseason. And now like they're not there, and you still like you're better than you probably should be. But yeah, they're just.
Oh,
What do you think?
they're one of the most surprising teams today. I cannot believe how good this team is compared to what I thought they'd be dreadful.
They're a
Like I
mid
hated,
team, and I would agree.
yeah,
I didn't think they would be good at all.
like I thought they'd be like
Their
close to
management
where
is horrible.
close to where the Rockies are, and they're not. Like they're in the wild card race right now, which is insane. But I mean, they've been a fun story. Like, I mean, hopefully Ron Washington, his health is okay. He's not coaching for the rest of the year, but the play, like, it's awesome to see Trout playing again.
Mhm.
Same thing with DeGrom. Like, it's just nice to have these guys back, and Buxton, like
Oh,
these
that's
big
right.
name dudes that are studs. Like, it's just nice to have them healthy and playing every day.
Mhm.
Zach Neto, their shortstop, I think is probably one of the most underrated players in the league. Like, not a lot of people know who he is, and he's been very steady since he has come up. Taylor Ward's been good. Logan O'Hoppe, Soler, like even just like naming their players and looking at the roster, you're like, how is this team 500? But
Well, the other
they're
thing
doing it.
is with Trout, like he was hurt and he's not. I love Mike Trout. He was one of my favorite players growing up who was not a Red Sox player, but he's not Mike Trout anymore, you know what I mean? Like he's not the same, and he was hurt, so it's just like how they're able to do this, without him being as good as I think he used to be, and Noah Ohtani obviously is just kind of beyond me. Like when you had those two guys on the same team, and you weren't able to make it happen, I just think that was a bad thing for baseball, and I don't think they run
Yeah.
things well. But somehow they've managed to be good this year, which is a
And
good thing for their fans.
one of my favorite like weird stats so far this year is the Angels have only used five starting pitchers,
Yeah.
which in like the modern MLB is insane to make it, 90 plus games with only five guys starting. I think that's probably going to have to change soon because Jack Kohanowitz has been really rough for them, but it's fun that they've been like steady and healthy. Like it would be a great story if this team is like actually competitive the rest of the year.
Oakland A's, Brent Rooker obviously leading off the All-Star swing off last night to get to the final. He had two home runs, I think, in that, so he did all right. But yeah, I was Schwarbs really took care of business for the National League last night. But yeah, I mean Oakland, they're not good. We knew they weren't going to be good. They're not as abysmal as they could have been or have been in past years. But like Jacob Wilson, he's had a really good year. I've been impressed with him. I didn't expect him to be that good. I just they've had big issues. I mean, you talk about leaving your hometown, you know, Oakland, you were beloved there, and they're at where they're at. But yeah, I don't believe in them. I don't think why people would believe in them at this point. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I thought they could have like the potential to do what the Angels are doing right now. Like I thought they could be like
Hmm.
sneaky above average, and they're 16 games under 500. Like they're bad, but it's a nice step forward compared to the last 2 years. But
Right.
I I think you can commend the organization without commending the owner because I think John Fisher sucks. But I
Oh,
think they've done a really good job drafting, developing pitchers. Like Jacob Wilson's awesome. Nick Kurtz is a superstar. Like he might take Rookie of the Year away from Jacob Wilson. He's been so good lately. Their first baseman. Um, Mason Miller's taken a bit of a step back, but he's still awesome. Like I really like their team. I think they're going to be pretty legit in a couple of years when these guys get a little older. They just need some pitching. Obviously, I think they're going to move Severino to someone. Like we'll see what they get in return for that. But
yeah,
they've
I
got
think
some
it'll be
young
sellers.
arms that I think could be fun to watch in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. There'll be sellers. All right. Well, you have any predictions as we wrap this up? Just like who are your division winners updated and who are your wild cards going in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd go Tigers. Tigers Astros is kind of the easy two,
I would agree.
and then I think I'd go Toronto to win. I like what they're doing. Wild card, I like Boston, Seattle, and I'm gonna stay with Texas just because I picked them earlier, but I don't feel super confident about that pick. I have the Yankees out again, which I did before the year, and I'm sure they'll make the playoffs because I hate them. But it's more fun to pick against them. But I don't know who's gonna win.
I don't
I think
either. I really don't.
I think I'd probably pick Houston, which sucks. But with how productive they've been, with a healthy Pena and Jordan too, they could get another pitcher. I don't know. That seems like the safe pick, I guess, but
All right.
I
I'm
hope
gonna
it's
go.
not them.
I'm gonna go with I'll agree Detroit, Houston, wild card wise. Like this is hard to pick the East. Like the East has just been so crazy because Yankees ahead now, Blue Jays are on a surge, and the Red Sox are playing really well. As a heart, with my heart, I want to say Boston. They've been excellent. I think there's a lot of ifs with the deadline that we don't have the answers to yet. But I would
Yeah.
say in some fashion, Toronto gets in, Yankees get in, Red Sox get in, and I would say other wild card's going to be Seattle. So that's what I got. Wrapping this thing up, and then we'll come back with the National League edition. All right. Thank you for
Awesome.
listening.